And we are on the fifth limb of yoga. So we're moving along. And the fifth limb of yoga is called Pratayahara. I like the sound of that one too, Pratayahara. Pratayahara means withdrawal of the senses. So it doesn't mean that we need to go and sit in a cave for the rest of our lives to withdraw our senses and let go of everything else. It's more about allowing the mind some quiet time without stimulation. So it's quite hard in our society because we're so bombarded with news, with our phones, with social media. We get so much information. It's overstimulating, it's overwhelming. There is so much that we get. And also we've come to the point where sometimes we actually don't know what to do if we're not having our phones in our hands, right? If we're not got something to occupy us, we're kind of like, you know, we feel a bit uncomfortable. It's hard for us to just stop and take some time for ourselves and have that quiet time. And the problem with so much news is that, you know, it can be depressing. It's, you know, there's projections of things that's going to happen. It can be, you know, there's statistics, our nervous system, especially at this time during COVID-19, our nervous system gets out of whack because we just, like, there's too much to absorb and it's hard to know what's going to happen next. You know, it's overwhelming. It also kind of dulls our minds. We stop caring. We don't really, you know, we're so overloaded. We're just like, yeah, okay, you know, we don't know what to do with it. So, so part of Pratyahara and withdrawal of the senses is trying to reduce that sensory input. Can we have less exposure to the news? Can we take a pause from social media and all that that brings us? It's wonderful having that connection with others, but sometimes we see just the perfect parts of other people's lives, even at this time, and we're just like, oh, my life is not like that, or I'm struggling, or whatever it is, and it's too much. So seeing if you can take a step back from some of that. Another aspect of Pratyahara is about withdrawal from the drama of our lives. We kind of get drama from all sorts of areas. It can come from misunderstandings, right, from other people, but also within ourselves. Overreactions, poor communication, speculation, interpretation. So it's not about real life. We kind of, something happens and we create this whole drama around it, which makes it much more complicated and causes more problems. And it's to do with, you know, it can be drama or stories we create about other people, about ourselves, about life, about the world, anything. So seeing if we can let some of that drama go, right? Just deal with what's happening in the present. Withdraw from some of that drama. It gets too much. And then finally, well, finally for today of what I'm talking about to do with Pratyahara, it's about finding that quiet time so you can allow some space between me, what's happened, so and my response to the world, right? So whatever happens around us, it might be chaos, but if I take time for myself and I pause and I have a little bit of space, then I can learn to have a measured response to what happens in the world rather than having a knee-jerk reaction and just responding in a really fast way that doesn't necessarily benefit me or anybody else. So allowing myself to have that space, to withdraw a little bit, pausing, having that mental space so that I can sit with my feelings, I can deal with what's happening, what's going around on just within me, and it allows me then to respond much more appropriately, much more calmly, much more measured. So that is Pratyahara, taking time for our brains, for our minds, for our bodies, pausing. stepping back a little bit from all the chaos of the world. So we'll play a little bit with that on the mats today. So we're going to start sitting up super tall. I will let you know we'll start by grounding, and then we're going to come into bumblebee breath. I think most of you have done this with me. It is you're taking your in fact this time we can do it slightly differently. We're going to basically be using the little cartilage, in just the little flap of cartilage on the outside of the ear, that we're just going to press in a little bit to help to kind of muffle the sounds around us. So we've got that, but there's also another part. You can do that with your thumbs actually, and then you can place your index fingers kind of just gently over your eyes when they're closed, and you can even have your middle fingers and place that over your mouth. So it's showing that we're kind of closing off the senses, and then we're going to hum like a bumblebee. So it goes something like this. And when you finish your round of your hum, like once you finish your breath, you take a deep breath in and you just start your humming again. So you just keep going continuously. So we'll get to that. But that's about closing off the senses. So just so you know, the thumbs go, press a little bit in that cartilage. You're not pressing into your ears. That's not safe. And you want to then have your some fingers closing the eyes or helping to close the eyes, and another over the mouth, or adjust it any way you like. So, but to start with, hands are going to go onto the thighs, just relaxing, shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades towards each other at the back. So you're kind of opening through the chest a little bit. You're sitting up your tallest self, so you can imagine that you've got you can place your hand, you don't even have to imagine that you're pressing your head into the hand and lifting yourself up. So you're getting super tall, finding space for that breath to really fill your lungs so completely. Before you close your eyes here, you're just going to maybe look around the room and just notice sort of any colors that take your attention, any textures. Just notice visually what's happening with your senses, with your eyes. Okay, and then you can then withdraw a little bit internally if that helps. You're just closing your eyes. And you can still notice what's happening with other senses. So you can notice if there are any sounds, any that are really close to you, and maybe some that are further away. So just spending a moment, taking some time just to notice each one individually, each sound. And then you're just going to focus on the touch side of your senses. So what's happening with your fingers? Can you feel the texture of your connection with your fingers and your legs? Like what's that texture on whatever you're wearing, or if you have bare legs? Feel that connection and that touch. And also the connection between you and the block, or if you're sitting on one, or just on the mat, or whatever is beneath you, those points of contact. So we're slowly going a little bit more inwards and slowing down the breath here. So we're breathing through the nose, really slowing it down. So you can use that Ujjayi breath if you know it, or if you remember from the last class, if you participated and you remember how to do it. So it's that constriction at the back of the throat, so it gives you an audible sound as you breathe, helps to focus your attention a bit more, or just breathing through your nose, however that works best. But slowing the breath down. And then you can bring your hands up to your ears. So your elbows are coming out to the sides. Your thumbs are just pressing in that part of the cartilage. Your other fingers, your index finger covering your eyes, maybe your middle fingers just covering your mouth. And you're going to take a deep inhale in to start your brahmacharya breath, your bumblebee breath. So, so finish your last round, the round that you're on. And you can release your hands and just pausing for a moment, noticing how that felt. Again, letting go of any drama, if it's difficult, you didn't like it, all of that stuff, just letting it go. And with your eyes closed, if you like, you can just drop your left ear to your left shoulder. And you can bring your right arm just about out to the side, about hips height. And you can maybe move your head a little bit if you need to, just a little bit, and just notice where that juicy kind of stretches. Where do you need this most? And pause wherever that is and take a deep breath into that space. And anytime during this practice, you can always close your eyes and just notice how that changes things. So you can move between eyes open and eyes closed. The hand can come down. You're just going to lift the head up and bring it over the ear over to the other side. The left arm can come out. And again, you just notice where you can move your head a little bit, and where you find that really juicy stretch. Where do you need this the most? And breathe into that space. And then the hand can come back down, lifting up through the head. We're just going to come up into a tabletop. So just coming onto all fours here, spreading the fingers and the toes. Again, you can do this with your eyes closed. You can come into cat-cows, working with your breath. Coming into a neutral pose here. We're going to take the left leg out behind us, so really pushing the heel back. And we're just going to bring the toes down to tap and lift. So you're going to exhale it down, inhale, lift. 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to cross it over your body and tap the ground with that. 1, 2. So you can just do that with your eyes closed if you like, or with them open. 3, 4, 5. Making some circles with that leg. And going the other direction. So using your breath as an anchor, you've got your knee bent. So you're going to inhale here with the foot up, exhale rounding here. So we'll do a few of those. 2, 3, 4, 5. This time, holding that knee in towards the nose, bringing the foot forward, pressing the hips forward, reaching up with the arms. So we're going to do a 4-part breath here and with some movement. So inhale, the arms are up. Exhale, down. Inhale, opening into cactus. Exhale, you can round the back a bit and bring the forearms together. So if it's difficult, don't worry. Don't start getting wound in stories. It's all right. You just do whatever works. Last one. Excellent. Hand comes back down. And you're just going to bring that leg back to meet the other one. We'll just come into some circles with the hips here. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, coming back. And remembering, even though we're doing some things that are quite strenuous, that's fine. You just can close your eyes at any point once you know what you're doing, if you like. You can go the other direction. Coming back to center, that right leg lifts up. And we're just inhaling here. Exhale, tap. Across the body. Tapping, exhale. And then coming into circles with that leg. And going the opposite direction. Bending that knee, pressing the foot up, inhale, exhale into center, round. Keep going. Last one, and then hold it, squeezing it in, and stepping between the hands. You might need to help it, no problem. All good. Pressing the hips forward, reaching up, and again, we're going to come into that work with the arms and the breath. So it's inhaling, arms up straight. Exhale, bring them down. Inhale, cactus arm. Exhale, forearms together, maybe a bit of rounding in the back. Here we go. The arms can come up and down either side of the foot, and the knee comes back to meet the other one. We'll just move the hips from side to side here. And tucking the toes, we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Spreading the fingers, pressing down with all parts of the hands. You can bend the knees a lot, getting length through the back. And then straighten your legs as any amount that you like, but it's okay to keep your knees bent, trying to keep that length from wrist all the way to sit bones. Breathing here. We're going to bring the right leg up behind you here. I'm going to just switch over actually so you can see. So the right leg is up. Coming into a plank here with that right leg lifted. I'm going to bring that knee over to the right elbow. Now I'm trying to bring it up towards the armpit, and then exhale, bringing it down towards the ground, just hovering. So up and down. It's hard. 3, you might be able to do it with your forearms on the ground. It'd be a little harder. So listening to your body, if this is too much, finding something that works. You can always come into a side plank here instead. So listening to your body. All right, last one. Okay, and then we're going to place that foot back down, pressing back, downward facing dog. Find your pose. You can find a little bit of movement, that's fine. And then see if you can find some stillness. Other leg, left leg lifts, finding length. And then coming forward here into a one-legged plank. And I'm going to turn around one more time so you can see. We're going to bring that knee up towards the armpit and then down towards the ground. It's quite hard. So again, not making stories around or drama. If it's difficult, find something that works. Maybe you can do it with your knee down, and that's okay. Excellent. Then the foot comes back, pressing back, downward facing dog. And then we're just going to walk the feet, one foot at a time, towards the front. Hanging over the legs, pulling chest down into thighs. You can shake your head no. You can nod your head yes. Maybe tucking your hands under your feet so your toes come all the way up to the wrist creases. You can have your knees bent any amount. And then lengthening through arms and legs as much as it works. So it could be a tiny bit. That's all fine too. And just lifting up. And release. You can take your right foot behind the left. So you're coming into a little bit of a, so you've got crossed legs, your feet, your pinky toes are together. So again, it's right behind the left. And you're going to come out to the left side a little bit with your hands. So you're really stretching through the IT band on the right side. Breathing here. Notice how this feels. Coming back through center. That back leg is going to come back diagonally behind, diagonally across the body behind, so behind you. So you're bringing it out to the side. Your right hand is going to come down. You're going to come onto the outside edge of that right foot. So this is a bit challenging as well. So you're listening to your body, and it's okay if this doesn't work. The right foot then comes back. We're coming into fallen star here, opening up. If this is too much for your wrist, opening up onto your forearm is fine too. If you want to take it, go a little bit more crazy, and it's not, it is hard, you're lifting up that right leg. So just pointing it, lifting it. But really listening to yourself. There's no need to do all of these crazy poses. It's just finding what works for your body today. And it's okay to recognize that maybe one doesn't work for one person and it might work for someone else. All good. Calming back into a plank pose. Excellent. And this time you can bend your knee, you can come back into a downward facing dog. You can bend your knees any amount. You can either walk forward or you can choose to hop between your hands. Arms come either side, coming all the way up. A little back bend here. And exhale, heart center. Closing your eyes after working quite hard. Just notice the sensations in your body. Give yourself a little bit of quiet time. Deep inhale, maybe through the nose. And maybe exhaling out through the mouth. Maybe two more like that. Inhale, nose. Exhaling mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Excellent. You're going to just find your way back down again. So we'll lift up our arms, folding down here. And this time, we've got the left leg coming behind the right, I believe. And we're going to come over to the right side with the fingertips. And notice that stretch. How does it feel? Breathing here. Excellent. Hands come back to center. That left foot comes back diagonally out to the side. So across the body or under the body here. And then I'm going to turn onto the outside edge of that foot, pressing down with my hands. I'm bringing the other foot back and lifting up. Hips come up towards the sky. If you want to try, and it's just to give it a go if you feel like it, lifting that other leg, the left leg, placing it down, coming into a plank. Here we go. So we're just going to come knees, chest and chin here, elbows squeeze into the body, opening up through the chest here. All right, so we're coming into Sphinx pose. The elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, opening through the chest. Deep breaths. Allowing whatever chaos is happening on the outside just to disappear or melt into the background. Excellent. You're going to interlace your fists here, and you're going to actually bring your arms a little bit more forward. So then we're just coming up onto the knees, and we're lifting up through the hips. So the knees are down, the arms are a little bit more forward, and you're going to breathe here. So this is quite challenging for the core. So just breathing here. You can close your eyes. And then bringing the hips down, coming back with the hands either side of the chest. And we're just going to squeeze the elbows in, press the feet down, and just lift up through the chest. So the arms are bent, your hips are down on the ground. You can come up into any other variation if you prefer, of course. And you're squeezing the elbows in, finding openness here, breathing. Again, you can close your eyes if you like. Noticing the challenge. of staying in a pose for a little while. Let go of any drama, any stories. You're always welcome to come out and pause, and it's not a negative thing. That's positive when you know when you need to take a break. Tucking the toes, lifting up through the hips, pressing back, downward facing dog. And then again, you can bend the knees, you can look forward, you can step or walk or hop or skip or however you're going to get to the front. Folding over once you get here, maybe lifting the sits bones up towards the sky, but you can have your knees bent any amount, particularly if you have lower back issues. Highly recommend. And then the arms come out to the sides and all the way up, a little back bend here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Excellent. Lifting up through the right leg. Maybe giving it a squeeze here. Now you've got a choice. Just staying with the leg bent, really great choice. Or you can lengthen that leg out. Maybe you could bring your hand to the toe or grab a strap or something resembling a strap. And you can have that knee bent any amount. It doesn't matter. So either way, you're going to open up through the hip, bringing that leg to the side. Or you can do it coming out with the leg. The left arm can come out to the side. If that feels good. And bringing everything back to center. Lifting up through that leg again. Pressing back. We're coming into a warrior 3 briefly. Opening up through the chest. So you might interlace the fingers behind you. Pressing back and up. And then that foot comes down behind you. Opening through the chest here. And exhale. Folding forward. Lifting those arms up. Excellent. Releasing through the hands here. So you're going to come into, you can see whether you want to come into this, but this is where we're going. We're lifting up that right leg, possibly. And then maybe taking that left hand to the lower back. You can always use a block here underneath your right arm. And then you're bringing your left arm up to the sky. It's a very awkward pose. So we all feel a bit weird in this pose. Am I doing it correctly? All of those things. Let that story, those comments go. It's okay. Do your best. Be in the present. Notice how it feels. So looking for the sensations more than, oh, why can't I do this? Or why does this look so ugly? Or whatever it might be. And then the hand comes back down, foot comes back down. Inhale, reaching back up and opening up. Warrior 2 here. Excellent. You can look over the front fingers, making sure that the knee is pressing out a little to the left side, protecting that knee. And you don't want the knee going to be on the ankle. Knee above ankle. Taking a deep breath. You can wrap your right arm behind you, maybe grabbing onto that left thigh, or maybe it just rests on your lower back. We're coming into a reverse warrior. And then we're going to come back up, reaching forward, left arm comes down, twisting that right shoulder up towards the sky. Any variation you like here. Up to you how this looks. Excellent. Taking a couple of breaths wherever you find yourself. Letting go of the comparisons or where you think you should be or any of that stuff. Inhale. Reaching back up. Excellent. Just bringing hands to the hips, turning on the ball of the back foot, lifting up one more time, kicking that foot out, trying to find your balance. Excellent. And then that foot comes back down, palms out, facing in front of you, closing your eyes, Tadasana, mountain pose. Just letting everything settle. Slowing the breath down, slowing the heart rate down. And we're going the other direction, or with the other foot rather. So you can lift up through the left leg this time, I believe. You can squeeze it in, you can kick it out, or you can just leave the knee bent and open that way as well. That's absolutely fine. So all of these options are excellent options. It's not that one is better than another one, right? And it's not that, oh, if I can't do this one, then I'm not doing well. They're just poses, and we're just playing with them and seeing what happens when we try different poses. Some might work for us, some might not, and that's okay. Opening up to the side, and bringing it back, bringing that knee in towards you, and then this time you can have your thumbs towards each other in the back, elbows squeezing in, kicking that leg back, elbows squeezing towards each other so you're opening through your chest. And then you're going to step that back foot back behind you, interlacing fingers, pressing down and back, and leaning forward, lifting up through the arms if that works for you, opening through the shoulders, and then releasing the hands down. So again, if you want to use a block or books or whatever works under your left hand, you can then bring your left leg up. And here is where we're going to start to try and twist. So that right hand can come on the back, lower back, and you can start stacking your right shoulders, right fingertips up to the sky. Letting go of how we look, how this pose is going. Excellent. Placing the hands back down, foot back down, reaching forward and all the way up. Coming into warrior two. Finding your pose, knee pressing open to the right. And then the left hand, comes over, grabbing onto that right hip, or just coming behind you. All options are good. And we're just reversing that warrior here. Taking a breath. Coming on up, reaching forward, right arm coming on the thigh, twisting that shoulder open here. And then finding whatever variations you would like. Maybe that left arm comes up above, overhead, just listening, playing. Excellent. Calming back up. You've got this. Hands on hips. We're just turning on the ball of the back foot, lifting up through that left leg, kicking out with that foot, and placing the feet down, hips width distance apart, palms facing forward, shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades towards each other, and closing the eyes. Tadasana. Giving yourself some space, your mind some space. So gently opening your eyes, we're going to come into a seated pose here. We're going to work a little bit with the hips. So we're going to start with the right leg lifted, left is lengthened, toes coming in towards you. And you're just rocking your legs, so it's like you're rocking a baby. So you're lifting up that. You can find different ways to do it. Maybe you can get your leg in the sort of crux of your elbows in that crease, and you do it like that. Maybe you hold with your hand and your knee. It doesn't matter. Again, you're trying to get your back super long, so you don't want to be rounding your back. So whatever works for you, you're just giving yourself a little bit of space here, movement. Excellent. You can place that foot down. And we're going to use the right hand as a kickstand, lifting up. Left arm reaches up. And you're going to twist over towards the right, keeping the foot that's lengthened active, so the toes are coming in towards your body. Inhaling, you're getting tall. And exhaling, you're twisting, looking behind you. Using your arm to press into your leg, leg into arm to give you some something to press against, something to turn, give you some power here. And inhale, coming back through center, you're just coming to a micro twist the other direction, maybe leaning down and coming back up. Switching the legs, bringing that left leg in, however you want to do it, to open the hips a little bit, giving yourself a little bit of movement. That rocking might be quite soothing. Again, you can have eyes open or closed. So closing them helps us to let go of some of that drama, especially when we're on a call, so we don't have to see what everyone else looks like, what we look like. We just feel into our bodies. And then releasing that leg, crossing it over, toes of the extended leg activated. Left hand is your kickstand. I come onto the fingertips to help get length through my back. Right arm comes up. I'm using it to press against that knee to help me to not only lift and get tall, but also to twist. Inhale, getting tall. Exhaling, finding twist. Don't forget to breathe deeply through the nose. You can always use that Ujjayi breath all the way through a class until Shavasana. Breathe. Inhale, coming through center. And we're just coming down, open, a little twist the other direction. So we're going to stack the logs with our legs. This can be really hard if your hips are super tight. So again, it's forgetting about the stories, it's okay. We're just going to see where it takes us. We're going to put the right leg parallel to the front of the mat. The toes are active. And then the ankle of the other leg, foot, comes on top of that knee. So you might find that you've got quite a lot of space here, and that's fine. You can put something in between it to help press that knee down if you like. And you're ultimately trying to work that knee down towards the other ankle. Right? If it's really, really challenging, you can play with bringing that front leg forward a little bit. It might help to ease it off a little bit more. So finding wherever you are here and trying to let go, even if it's really hard. Our hips and jaw have a lot of connection, so also move our jaw, your jaw from side to side to let go of any tension as we're releasing in the hips. We don't want it to come into the jaw. And then you can work and see whether coming forward any amount works. And so it may be that just being as upright as possible is the way to go. So you're just listening and paying attention here. Deep breaths. And release. We're going to switch these sides. So it's the left leg that comes forward, ankle over the knee. And again, just finding whatever works for your body. Being patient, it's okay. Just giving yourself, allowing yourself to be however you are, right? All that wonderfulness. Even if some of the things are challenging, pressing that knee down, finding your length. Not worrying what this pose should look like, just being with the pose. And you can come down any amount. You can close your eyes. You can breathe deeply if it's really challenging. Find those longer breaths. Breathe. And then we're slowly going to make your way up, bringing feet about hips width, or much wider than hips width distance, maybe mat's distance apart. And you're just dropping the knees over to the left. And you're going to then just twist to your body to the back and just lower a bit, bending the arms, bending the elbows, and coming down towards the floor. Inhale, coming back through center, dropping knees to the other side. And again, you're just twisting over towards the back, lowering down, and then coming back up. Excellent. Giving yourself a really nice squeeze. So you're getting length through your back as you're squeezing your legs in. Maybe you can play with lifting off. Seeing if you can lift off without compromising that back. It's very difficult. So just lifting the heels off the ground if it feels good. If you can get that length. Excellent. And then we're going to roll down onto the back. So just one vertebra at a time, calming on down. Excellent. Calming down onto the ground, feeling the ground beneath you, stretching out, closing the eyes for a moment. Now you can bend your knees and bring your feet together and open up through the hips again. You're just coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Maybe bringing the attention internally again. You can close your eyes if that feels good. Just allowing whatever chaos is happening around us just again to melt away. Find that calm space within you. Excellent. You're going to bring the left leg straight, right leg can come up. You can start with it just being bent, and then you're pressing it up straight. So you can just pulse that. So just lifting, straightening it. Excellent. And then you can place it down, switching legs. So again, you've got bent knee, and you're just pressing it up straight. Pulsing a few times, you can keep your eyes closed. And it may not get all the way straight, and that's okay too. Everybody's bodies are different. There's not a right way or a wrong way or a good way or a bad way. They're just different. Excellent. And then you're going to bring both knees into the chest, just rolling from side to side. And we're going to bring both legs up, so it's like legs up the wall. If you have a wall right there, feel free to bring your legs up to the wall, that's fine. You want to keep your lower back pressing into the ground as you lift through the legs. So really feel that lower, feeling that mat pressing into the back. If it feels better, if you have a block and you place the block underneath and lift up, that usually really helps to press the sacrum down into the block. So that's another option. So it just depends on what you have at hand. You can always do that with a cushion also. So pressing the sacrum into the ground or into the block. Taking a couple of breaths here. And wherever you are, maybe dropping the right leg, not so that it gets to the ground, it's still hovering. And you're just switching the legs. with your breath. You can again have your eyes closed if you like. And then you can kind of scissor them out to the side if you like as well. Just notice which muscles are working. Find my plant, a little bit of use. And then you can bring your legs back up again, pressing that sacrum again down into the ground. So if you have a block, you're going to remove that block. We're just going to come up into an easy bridge pose, feet hips width distance apart. And you're just going to lift up through the hips. Maybe you interlace your fingers and touch your shoulders, pressing down, lifting up. Maybe imagine that you've got a block between your thighs. So it doesn't mean the thighs are touching, it means the thighs are pulling towards each other. And releasing hands if they're underneath you, slowly coming down, one vertebra at a time. You're going to have left leg lengthened, right leg either squeezing in or you can have it lengthened. We're going to grab onto opposite, so with the opposite hand, we're grabbing onto that leg. So you can use a strap here if you want to, or again, you just do it with your knee bent. So you can do it like this. So we're just going to cross that leg over the body, coming into a spinal twist. If you have a strap, you can do the same and just cross it over. If you want to use your hands, you just do the same and crossing over. So there's lots of options. You can bring your right arm out to the side of your body. You can bring your gaze over the right fingertips if that feels good, or just otherwise looking up towards the ceiling. And then again, feeling free to let go, to go inwards, to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Finding your breath. Noticing if there's any drama in your mind right now, if there's any stories that you are creating. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just allow yourself to let it go. Being in this moment fully, noticing the sensations in your body, noticing your breath. Just allowing yourself to have some quiet time, regardless of the sounds or whatever's happening around you. And then coming on up, releasing, noticing how it feels. And we've got the other side. So again, you can bring me in, or you can lift up through that foot. You can use a strap or any variation. And you're bringing that leg across the body, however that looks. Left shoulder pressing down, left arm coming perpendicular from your body. Gaze can be over the fingertips. So if you've got neck issues, just up at the sky. And closing your eyes if that feels good. Pause. Finding that inner stillness so that you can deal with whatever's happening in the world. Coming back to center, giving yourself a really beautiful, unconditional hug, being there for yourself, accepting yourself, being kind and loving to yourself. And then you're going to reach your legs out. Just allow them to flop open, the toes just opening up to the sides if that feels good. You can have shoulders pressing down, palms face up, using as much space as you want. And then allowing yourself this special time and this space for you. It's a gift. It's Pratayahara. Enjoy. Bringing your attention back to your physical body. Maybe wriggling fingers and toes. Maybe find other movement in your body, maybe circling ankles or wrists. Maybe moving your head to the left, through center and over to the right. Just very slowly back through center, reaching the arms up, finding length, and bringing the knees in, giving yourself a final hug of the class. You deserve it. You are worth it. You're amazing. And then you bring your left hand, you were going to turn down to our right side. So you're going to bring your right arm underneath your ear and roll onto the side. So just coming into a fetal pose, feeling the ground beneath you, that support, the solid ground there. And gently pressing yourself up into a seated pose. You can keep your gaze inwards, you can keep your eyes closed if you like, and finding any kind of seated pose that feels really good. You can kneel, you can have easy, you can come into easy pose with your legs crossed, you can come into lotus or half lotus. As long as you can keep your back super lengthened, spine long, shoulders down, shoulder blades towards each other, and eyes closed if it still feels good. And although it may feel weird or uncomfortable, we're just going to sit with ourselves just for a very short time, just about 2 or 3 minutes here. And sometimes it feels like when we get into this space, we might want to run away because we're just not used to it. So we're not used to sitting with what's happening in our minds, in our bodies, all of that. But it's a short time. So see if you can just allow yourself to do it. If your mind wanders, it's okay. You can either notice what your thoughts are, or you can kindly bring them back to the breath, to the present moment. Give it your best shot. And then bringing hands together at heart center. Inhale, reaching the arms to both sides and all the way up, touching at the top. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching out and up, touching. Exhaling, hands to heart center. One more time, inhaling. Gathering positive energy here, bringing it in towards your heart. Pausing here. Finding gratitude to yourself for taking time for your mind and your body today. And maybe seeing if you can find those pockets of Pratayahara, withdrawing your senses from the world throughout the day. And then bringing hands up to the third eye center. As always, it's such a pleasure having all of your energy today in this class. Such a pleasure. Namaste.